interesting that year after year, the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, traditionally issues pardons, but when it comes to the 2004 arrest of George Floyd, he's silent and undecided on whether or not he's going to do so. The 2004 arrest, which occurred in Texas, where Floyd spent many of his years, was conducted by an ex-police officer in Houston, who prosecutors themselves no longer trust. Because the officer, anxious to make an arrest, went so far as to plant crack cocaine on his victims, and Floyd was but one. It should be a no-brainer to pardon George Floyd, who, although escaping racist police in Houston, ran right into some more in Minneapolis. And the world watched in horror as a knee and a neck with the full body weight of an officer held him in place until every bit of his breath left him. So why the sudden pause and undecidedness when it comes to the pardoning of George Floyd? This is not a request outside of what is normally done this time of year, nor is it a request that seeks to call the guilty innocent, because guilt in this case can be placed squarely on the officers involved in that arrest and in his murder. President Biden's George Floyd Act didn't get passed either. And although they've pledged to revisit it and make it more effective, it's fallen by the wayside, with no mention at all being made concerning it. The entire parole board in Texas has approved and recommends that this pardon be given. So why is the governor stalling? What is it that prevents him from pardoning a crime not committed? The truth of the matter is, the crime is being Black here in America. Not the drugs, not the violence, nor any crime committed. Because the drugs and the violence is done to ourselves and is only addressed by means in which to further incarcerate and justify the murders of police. And at the root is poverty and the lack of resources and the total abandonment of communities at large who turn to their own devices to maintain an existence. In the days ahead, we will see racism like never before. And it will not cease no matter how many Black faces in high places are appointed or elected, because you would not listen when told by your people what was being done and what was occurring, and listen to the narratives given by those seeking to destroy you, who led you in fights ending nowhere. And George Floyd is the best example to date, because not even the act named in his honor did they pass, even though admitting that it proposed far less than what was actually needed. The family of George Floyd awaits this pardoning of the governor. They say it will be an example of accountability. I disagree. It's an example of how a Black man in America can be falsely arrested, wrongfully murdered by state-sanctioned police, and how confusion sets in when asked by the white authorities to hold him blameless in his own false arrest and murder. That, in fact, is all they're really asking. And the fact that they had to ask is telling in itself. It means you could be innocent and have crimes committed against you, and your Black life will still not matter.